All right, welcome back to another film review from the Unconquered Podcast Film Review Series. As always, I'm Jason, and I'm going to make this one a little shorter than usual because, quite honestly, I don't think most of us want to spend a whole lot of time with this one. This one's one where, as a coach, you really just want to go ahead and get rid of it, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at a few things and see what we can see. So Clemson, this is where this game gets off to the wrong start to begin with. Now, let's start here. Taggart mentioned in his interview that, Harrison needs to get in front and tell the returner a little bit more vigorously not to come out. But to be totally honest, I look at this and I go, he's all but tackling him. Stop, no, what? This is a kid who just decided, I'm going to bring this out. I'm bringing it out no matter what. He's already ready to go. And this is just dumb. And this is just more of the same in terms of what Florida State has done on special teams all year. Not only does he bring it out, this is something you discuss before the game. I coach special teams. That's one of my units. Actually, multiple units. That's one of the things I do for the staff I'm on. And when you talk to these guys, you talk about it as, okay, they're going to kick it deep. Their guy gets it into the end zone or whatever. If you catch it in the end zone, don't bring it out. Let's just go ahead and get good field position. Now in high school, the as soon as it goes into the end zone, it's automatically a touchback. So you tell your guy, listen, don't try to catch it on the goal line and keep it from going in. Let it go in. Just we're going to take the ball, with the touchback. You talk to your guys about this. This is part of preparation. This is ridiculous. And you see Harrison's like, what in the world? What are you doing? He sees him. Nope, he just ignores him. I'm a good enough athlete. I'm gonna bring this back. No, you're not. No, because the way we do things on special teams is not very good, is what Harrison's thinking. No, you're not. Look at this. The way that Florida State handles special teams. Look at this effort from 24 here. From 84. There's no chance. He gets back. What he's doing, he's looking at this in the end zone and he decides, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to block because he's not going to bring that out. And then he goes, oh no. And now he's got to find the guy he's supposed to block. Notice he's pulling up. He's looking. Now, these guys are supposed to block no matter what, so that's not good. But oh no. And now you have a guy that breaks it up, and Clemson has no problem mashing that. Just multiple whiffs. Whiff. It's just horrible. So here you go. You got your first play, and you're starting on your 10-yard line. That's suboptimal against one of the two best defenses in the nation. Probably the best. So you're going to start with Dart. This is just a box count for DeAndre Francois. All he's supposed to do is count 4, 5 in the box. He's got 5 blockers. This is a run read. What's he do? He's not interested in running. Why would he run? Now, they may have declared up front, we're just going to throw this right off the bat. But this is a run read. If this is a read at all, this is the wrong read. He just doesn't want to run. What you've got here, you've got 4-on-4 up front with a pulling tackle to serve as your ISO lead against the linebacker. Francois instead throws it out on the edge. And the result, take a look at this. This is a tight end. This is your backer. Oof. That's just being more physical. And that pretty much is the game right there. That's how things were. Clemson was the aggressor all game. Just coming off, and I'm going to block. Oh, never mind. Oh, and that's that. Now, Nooney also didn't exactly handle this well. I mean, best case here is not to step back and stumble and all that, although there's not much he can do. Just get blown up. But this is 4/4. This should have been a run read. So let's move on. Now, move to 3rd and 10 after an incomplete pass. Same formation. Now, what you have, you notice you've got 5, 6, 7 in the box. They're not respecting this 4 up here at all. They're giving you plenty of cushion down here as well. Now, he's probably going to drop if you're looking at this pre-snap as a quarterback, so anything out here is going to be robbed by this guy, which is what you get. So you're going to expect at least a 3-man, and then you're going to kind of expect these guys to drop into the flats. So you can't take any of this. And then they have 2/4 here, but he's going to drop to the curl. He's going to drop to the flat. They're playing for the quarterback draw there. And this is just dead. There's really nothing there. I really don't understand this concept because you have a clear out route here. That I get. Followed by a little snag. And then I'm not sure what these two are doing because they're ending up in the same spots. Got a little hitch on the outside from Akers. And then Nooney running a little wheel that runs right through the path of the hitch. I don't get it. As a 3rd down play, quite honestly, this sucks. There's not really... You got 4 guys out here, and they're able to cover with 2/4 with a couple guys dropping because there's just nothing they're doing. So, you're not forcing them to cover anything. So this is basically dead from the beginning. That's just not good. So Clemson gets it back. A first down run of 4 yards. We're going to move into this. And this is where, this guy's of a different breed. This is a little RPO. He's reading the box. They have 6, 7 in the box. They have 5, 6, 7. He likes this matchup. You're going to read right here. So he gets his eyes on the Sam linebacker. Sam linebacker comes up. So if you want to watch a study in how this is supposed to be done versus how it's not supposed to be done, their true freshman does a really good job of doing what they're asking him to do in this RPO game. You can watch Francois repeatedly do the wrong thing. But anyway, Lawrence looking closely here at that Sam. As soon as he comes up for the run, that becomes a quick out. It's a 4-step out by the receiver. You're going to have a clear out here. He's going to take him out. You've got quarters, so they know that he's got to come out to him. There's too much of a cushion. There's nobody in the flat. So if he's not taking away the flat, that's your flat defender there. If he steps up to the run, then you hit the flat. If he steps out to the flat, then you don't have a B gap defender because he's got your C, he's got your B. You got no B gap defender to stop the run. If he steps out to the flat, this is basically defense is going to be wrong every time. And because Lawrence reads it quickly and gets it out there quickly, no problem. That's how it's supposed to be done. It's very simple. And 20 can't be right on that. That's the thing. All right, so now we're going to skip a couple, get 3rd and 9, good pressure from Florida State early on. So now in the Delta package, showing all sorts of pressure from different spaces, and Clemson is waiting, doing a little bit of looking around, making sure that they see what to expect here. Notice they're in a 3-by-1. Florida State goes 2/3. In 3rd and 9, they feel like they can get this. They like this matchup. Now this is interesting. This is really the first we've seen Levante Taylor in the slot. And they started doing that a little bit this week, but Levante Taylor in the slot with with the freshman out here, with Samuel out here, seeing a little bit more of that in this game. Now this is basically a similar concept to what Florida State ran out of quads, but they don't have the extra guy pulling extra coverage out here. So you run a little snag, bring 4 with a wraparound for a 5th, and Brian Burns gets blocked, but ultimately you get some pressure from DeKalon Brooks, who does what he needs to do there. And this is basically a throwaway from the freshman here, from the Elf. Now you notice, I think he made the wrong read here. If you look at where he's going here, I think he made the wrong read. I think he read the wrong side of the field, so I think they forced him into a bad decision there, in terms of their the bringing the pressure the way that they did, because he gets 1-2 on 1 here with 1 underneath, whereas the place to read it would have been 2 over 3 with help from the safety. Safety's coming out here. Here's the matchup you want to go to. That little option route. That's really ideally where you want to go to, but he has to get rid of it, airmails it, and that's really kind of an airmail on purpose there. Next drive, Florida State insisting on starting with this quads to the field thing. Clemson again, 3 over 4 with an overhang here. He's apexing between the tackle and the outside player. Now, with this particular setup, you don't have an overhang to take away the flat or the curl. You're getting a one-on-one here. So as the quarterback, what you're wanting to do, you want to make sure that this safety stays in the middle of the field, and ideally you can hit some sort of skinny or a slant or something right in here. If you can make sure you control this guy with your eyes. Otherwise, you get some sort of back shoulder or something to your matchup here. This is what you're going to try to win. That's Trayvon Mullen against Keith Gavin. That's what you're going to try to win. But they run the same concept that they did before. And that's a tough throw. I got to give Francois credit here. I like this down here a lot more. You move him a little bit with your eyes, and you see this slant right there. That looks pretty good. Right there. That's a good release. You can hit this right here. This is when the ball's coming out, so you kind of toss your head that way and then come back to this spot, and you got a good play. This, you're having to throw over a guy. This is a touch throw. It's a tough throw. Got a little snag here, and then he's just holding up your underneath coverage here, but you're having to throw over the top of a guy here. If you don't hit this just right, that's an easy pick 6. That's a tough throw, good throw, and Akers gets the first down. So it works, but I'm not a big fan. So you get an incompletion on the first down on the last one, and now we get to 2nd and 10, and once again we have a little play action. And this is where it would help to have a little bit better tackle play, but, they are what they are. This is a good play by Francois. This is play action all the way. They're pass blocking the whole way. Could have potentially called holding on the tackle there, but he does a good job of letting off just in time. And the problem here is his set is not deep enough. He sets, he's on his heels a little bit, and now he's trying to hand fight already. He's got to set and be patient. Let him come to him a little bit. Stay square a little bit longer. Anyway, Francois does a good job of recognizing where that pressure is coming from, bailing, and getting that out on the run. Good throw, good catch. So now you get your little bunch, your 3-by-1 on 3rd and 40 after the ball gets snapped over the head. And actually, I'm going to pull this up in terms of the ball getting snapped over the head, because this is worth looking at a little bit more closely. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up from the longer version of this game because I can. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll pull it up. It should be. Yeah, I don't want the sound. All right, here we go. So first of all, I want to note right here that note where the snap is. The ball hits right about here. That's pretty normal for a shotgun snap. Just at or above the eyes, that's good. All right? That's what you expect. And this is a play we haven't looked at. We could have looked at, but this is the same play where you've got four to the field, but how many you got? 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 6 blockers in one. This is a clear throw read. What does he do? He's going to run it. What in the world? Throw it on this one. Don't throw it on the last one. What? Oh. Why would you run it into a 7-man box when you've got 6 blockers and throw it on a 5-man box when you have 5 blockers? That's just, yeah. Anyhow, let's find our other instead of what we were just looking at. So here's your first drive. Got to check the clock. 8:38. All right, we skipped ahead a little bit. There we go. All right, so we go to 8:38 here. So here, I want you to take a look at what happens on the snap here, where this snap was versus the one that we looked at before. Because a lot of folks seem to think that Eberle had snapped it way over his head. But this is snapped. He's looking for the motion on the jet. Ball actually is just a touch higher than it was before. But the problem is he's not looking at all. He's looking at the jet. He's not expecting it. So something happens with the timing. I'm not exactly sure whose fault that is. Probably Eberle's, but it might be Francois. It might just be a miscommunication. In any case, if you look at this, here's the problem. If he had expected this or if he'd been looking for it, he could catch that easily. It's not unreachable. It's maybe about 6 inches, a foot higher than normal. But snapped when it shouldn't be snapped, and that completely submarines that drive. So yeah, good example here. Yeah. Just didn't expect it. So now that submarines a drive where they actually had been moving the ball. Go back to the condensed version here. They'd been moving the ball. You know, you look at where they had it before. Second, it's let's see. Got first down on the 43. Right here. Moving the ball, couple first downs in a row, starting to get some momentum, and all of a sudden, it's 3rd and 40. Not even going to worry about that. That's pointless. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the non-condensed version because there are a couple things here I want to flag. All right. So what I want to highlight here is how Florida State up front was able to handle Clemson. Look what's going on the inside. Marvin Wilson gets double teamed. They try to work their way up to the backer. Wilson takes both guys, keeps the linebacker clean, tosses actually the center or the guard here, tosses the guard. He's playing 3 technique here. Tosses the guard. Guard gets off balance, so the backer gets a free run through. Look at that. That is just terrific play from Wilson. He's gets a hold of him, tosses him back while strong-arming the tackle, and he doesn't get pushed beyond the line of scrimmage. They've got a double team on the one technique as well, and Durden gets a little penetration. That's why that gets nothing. Florida State, when this game was still in the balance, this defensive front won. This defensive front did to Clemson basically what what Clemson's defensive front did to Florida State for the most part. The difference, and look, by this point, they're worried about Brian Burns because they're getting their butts kicked. But by the time this game got out of hand, that changed a little bit. But it's not like the Elf had a ton of time to throw here. I mean, look at this. And the thing is, let's think about this. If this were DeAndre Francois, what would be said? Oh, another free runner. How can that's terrible. The offensive line's terrible. Well, you know what? You have a little green dog. Delayed blitz. Burns is able to collapse a little bit. Free release, free runner on the quarterback. That's good defense. He didn't have a whole lot of time to throw there, but he got it out quickly and kept himself from taking a big shot. So now you got the Delta package. How much time's he got? Not a whole lot. It's very similar to what Francois is dealing with. Look at the hand placement here by Marvin Wilson and the agility for a 330-pounder right here against the left tackle. Wins on the hands, rips, and gets to him. And once again, the Elf takes a ton of pressure. A little hold on the inside, too. That defensive line won their matchups for the most part throughout the first quarter. And I'm going to go back a little bit just to highlight this a little further. It doesn't show up as much on the condensed version. First drive, watch this. It's the same jet sweep Florida State likes to run. Same H-back formation, same stuff. And there's just nothing there. Why? Look at the defensive tackles. Nothing. Defensive tackles, two win against 3. The back does a good job of gaining a few yards through contact, but there's nothing there to get. 2nd and 6. This is one we already highlighted. Nothing the defensive line's going to do there on that RPO. Another 2nd and 6 here. This time, you note the RPO. Once again, who's he watching? He's watching 20. And look at what's going on the inside. They are just dominating on the interior. Look at Fred Jones here. He gets double-teamed, splits the double, and then makes the tackle at the line of scrimmage. That's great defensive tackle play. Moving forward. And the Elf got some protection there. They didn't bring a whole lot of pressure here. Just had 4, and then a green dog from the backer here when the back stayed in. Clemson's all but in max protect, and actually the Elf I think misread this. This should have gone out here as a check down. That said, he's got a guy beat. Taylor not being as fast as Higgins. I mean, I can understand that, why you don't check this down. Confident your guy can run by Taylor, who's not all that fast. plus the size difference. And you know that against quarters, you're going to get no safety help. So there you go. I get it. He just misses him. It's one place where he had a little bit of time. 3rd and 9. Delta package again. We already looked at this one. Pressured, throws it away. And let's take a look at what Dabo tells him here. It doesn't tell, nothing specific. All right. So moving along. So I want to highlight this. The motion shifts this into a 5-2 with an outside corner look, and this becomes just a triple option. He's supposed to read the end man on the line of scrimmage. If he jumps the back, he takes it out, he pulls it out, and now you've got a pitch man out here. What do you see? Where are his shoulders? Is he coming downhill? Yep. He's taking the back. Both of those guys are taking the back. This is yet another misread from the quarterback position. If he pulls this ball right here, pull. Quarterback should pull right there. He's coming downhill. He's coming downhill. Quarterback's coming uphill. There's nobody there. By the time this guy turns to get to him, he's out in this area, and he's able to pitch to the receiver. Look at all that space. It's infuriating. If you're calling those plays, that is infuriating because you know that your quarterback just could, he just cost you 8 yards at least, if not more. So here you've got the misread on Dart. We looked at that one already. Let's hurry up and go nowhere. Quads look. We already looked at this one. And here we finally have the right read. You got 5 in, or you got 6 in the box. Against 5, you have 2 over 2, but 1's way back. This becomes basically an ISO. Unfortunately, it takes him so long to get the ball out there, and he throws it high and forces his guy to jump and come back for it, that there's nothing to do. This is great just getting back to the line of scrimmage. If, however, he does what Lawrence does, or a quality quarterback tends to do, and you put that out there right on his numbers, and that ball's out there now, he's able to catch this with a lead blocker and turn inside a little bit and get 4 or 5 yards without a problem. But instead, he has to go up for it and has to fight for nothing. 2nd and 10. Already looked at this one, and then we get our snap over the head, which we'll not deal with. So back to the, we'll look here. They're gonna cut out a few more of these wins by Florida State's defense. Already looked at that one. Yeah, we looked through this, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead. Let's take a look at the all 22 here. This is nice when they actually do this. Take note. They get pressure. They get lots of pressure. And this is good coverage downfield. This is man free. Got a free safety taking him away. I like them in man free oftentimes a little better than I like them in quarters. Nowhere to go. Get rid of the football. Take the shot. Nobody's crying for the elf like they do for Francois, however. So now you have a little move the pocket situation to try to get the ball on the edge. This is a good play by Francois. They don't honor his mobility at all. You notice he can get on the edge whenever he wants. But this is the same play that Jimbo used to run a bunch, where you have an over route, you have this come out to the flat, so if they drop and take away that comeback or that out, then you put it in the flat. Instead, they take that away. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he threw this poorly. And dropped it. Oh, mercy. This was bad. I'd forgotten about this one. It's not a bad throw. Doesn't get there very quickly. He needs to get that there a little quicker. Make the decision now. Right now, get that ball out instead of now. But even with that, make the catch. All of a sudden, you got the ball on the 35-yard line going in once more. That's devastating. Devastating. And this is just good run defense by Clemson. I actually think Akers missed his lane a little bit here. He should have come off here, coming upfield, pressing the hole a little harder, trying to get vertical. And then the edge wouldn't have been an issue, but instead he tried to get wide, and that brings the edge defender back into it. And by the time he gets back inside, there's nothing. But there was a seam here. If he hits this 100 miles an hour now, there's a seam. They're able to get this. He gets probably 5-6 yards on this without a problem. Instead, 2 yards, and that's that. He just doesn't look comfortable in what they're asking him to do. Little play action. And this is good pressure, but get the ball out. Get the ball out. We're waiting. Get it out now. Get it out. I don't see what's going on downfield, so I can't analyze that, but he's got to be on a little better timer. Definitely a throw. So through the first quarter, defensive lines are eating. Neither team's really looking all that great offensively. Now Clemson gets theirs out here. Same little boot Florida State ran. I mean, they're running a lot of the same stuff that, schematically that Florida State's running. They're just able to actually execute it. And this is a situation where he's making it look like an RPO. And he probably does have the option to throw to the edge if he doesn't like the box read. But with 20 on the edge here, apexed, he's going to like this going backside. He likes this angle here. And again, take note. Janarius Robinson had a quality game. Look at him blow up Mitch Hyatt, that left tackle. He wins that, keeps his outside arm free while collapsing that down. Not a bad job by Adonis Thomas here, taking on the lead blocker, shedding. And again, those defensive tackles are winning. This is the true freshman. This is 91. Look at him just throw. He just ragdolls the guard here, or the center, that is. He just ragdolls the center and comes back in there. There's nothing there. Florida State's D-line looked no worse than Clemson's to this point. Clemson's D-line is better, but the gap was not a big one at this point in the game, not until Florida State started getting blown out. That's a dart. This is pretty good protection from Clemson here, and the Elf gets this off in good time. 1, 2, 3, out right now. If you look at this, this is man on the top side. What are they doing? Yeah, this is it's just man free. So he's got to keep inside leverage on this. And Higgins manages to win to the inside. That's what you cannot let happen as a corner. He's got to maintain his leverage better here. It's a bad technique. See how he jumps outside a little bit? And now that's bad technique. If he stays on his inside shoulder and forces him to come through him, this never opens up. It's just bad technique from 14. There's a closer look. See, he presses inside a little bit and then hits to the outside. And if you watch, right there, he mirrors a little bit too far to the outside. You got to stay on his inside shoulder here. Stay on that inside shoulder. Let him push outside a little bit. And then get your hand on him. And that's just bad technique. And as a result, he winds up giving up the play. Once again here, gets beat by the better player. Does a better job of maintaining his inside leverage this time. See, stays inside. Lets him go outside, and now Clemson's going to do their back shoulder thing to the big receiver. There's nothing to do there. Got lucky that wasn't called. They let him play out on the outside. I like not calling that, actually, because the receiver did push off, but normally you're going to get called on that. So now this is the same basic 5-2 look that we've seen from Clemson against similar looks from Florida State. And again, those D tackles, that's about 600, almost 700 pounds of beef coming straight through here. Again, forcing the elf to vacate, forcing him to make a play on the run. He didn't have a whole lot of time to move around. He does a good job of feeling the pressure, sliding away from it, and and being unhurried. But that's good quarterback play, making your offense look a little better. The rest of your offense look a little better instead of worse. Delta package again. Get a free runner through, and they're just running a little screen here. And once again, that D-line eating things up. At this stage of the game, Florida State looks like Clemson's equal, at least on one side of the ball. They've looked terrible offensively, but up to now, they've looked pretty good on defense. Clemson brings 5. That's no worse than anything that we've seen in terms of Lawrence making these throws. But you notice, he's going backwards. Lawrence is not going backwards when he's making these throws. And also, look at how long he waits. That's got to be gotten rid of. So you pump now. That's part of the problem. Pump now. He's a beat late. Always a beat late. Now. Not now, but earlier. You're not going to get that when you're throwing it that late. I think that was to Gavin, right? Oh, no, that was to Nooney. Nooney's got to do a better job fighting for that anyway. But he's got to get that off a little quicker. Then if they do give you that shot, you get the benefit of the call. Now trips to the boundary. RPO it. This is actually the right read. His job is to get at least 4. He does get 4, so no complaints there. That's a good play. So now you get the same quads look. I'm not sure what they saw about how Clemson covers quads, but they kept coming back to this. And this is what I wanted to see earlier when they didn't have this overhang here. When they slid over, remember I said all you have to do is clear him out with your head. Problem here is that they actually have 2 safeties. Before they only had a single safety here. So that would have been the time to throw this. This is not as good a time to throw this. He's having to throw this in the window between 2 guys. This is harder for the receiver to actually see where that ball is. Ball's up in the air a little higher. He has to go up and get it. But you got to squeeze that, son. If Gavin's able to squeeze this, now you got the ball on the 25 at worst if he's not able to make a little bit bigger play because he's a big boy. All of a sudden, get that ball inside the 25, 20-yard line. And you see Francois rolling his eyes. Oh, well. Gavin, continuing to have some struggles in terms of consistency there. wouldn't have been 25. I'm sorry. That would have been 35 or 40 that he would have had that, getting into the midfield range. And all of a sudden you can tempo again. You can do a lot of stuff that you want. But that changes everything. I mean, again, that drop and the drop by Nooney earlier, those drops killed any momentum that they could have had offensively. And then you're punting once again. I want to, again, highlight what happens up front. If it weren't for Florida State's linebackers being a little light in the butt, up front, that right there, that's quality play right there up front. It's a good run. Fighting for yardage there to get 5. Little RPO again. And this is what Clemson calls bare butt. We've highlighted this in the past. On this one, he's actually reading the safety. Now, the safety has the H-back in coverage. They know that in this quarters look, and this is straight quarters, that he's got to play outside leverage, that the safety has a little help here if there's no release, but if he comes downhill at all for the run, and this is Lighton, I think. No, that's Westbrook. So Westbrook, the rule for quarters here, and this comes from TCU coach Gary Patterson, who runs a bunch of quarter stuff. He tells his safeties, know before you go. He's got to stay flat-footed here. Right now, he's coming downhill. Because he comes downhill 2 steps and sits, this is a 5-step route here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and cut it. And then because the backers are coming down and because he comes down 2 steps, this becomes a viable throw behind him. And that's a great throw. And that changes the game there. Because if he's able to stay in his assignment, if he's able to stay where he needs to be, he's able to stay right back in here just a little bit longer instead of stepping down. He doesn't need to step down for anything. That's bad. Don't step down. Stay right here. If he stays on his mark, then he's able to sink just a little bit. He's right here when this ball comes out, makes it a window that the quarterback can't throw to, and he's going to have to hand this ball off. And when he hands it off, even without the safety up there, where's he going to go? It's just bad safety play. Giving up a big play because safety decides to get a little greedy looking in the backfield instead of staying on his mark. And then that's just a terrific throw. Just reading that safety. This kid's going to be a number 1 pick. End of first quarter. Once again, look at what happens with the defensive line. Now they're setting up a little screen. There's nothing there. This is supposed to be a little quick throw to the edge. Burns takes this away. This is really good defense. And they're supposed to be cutting everybody. Look at this athletic play, avoiding the cut, getting his hands down by Christmas, staying up. And again, the elf just does a great job of sliding away from pressure and getting rid of it so that he doesn't take a shot. Live to see another play. Don't waste anything. Good to go. Now here he had plenty of time for once. But it didn't matter because Fred Jones got his hand on it. Again, that's quality play by the defensive tackle. You can't get there. Find a way to get into that passing lane. Now you got leverage. You can go into delta. Good protection there. Had plenty of protection. Good throw, but even better coverage by Samuel. Doing a good job running to the big receiver. Not getting over aggressive with him, but fighting for the hands. That's quality coverage. Unfortunately, it's the next play that really changes things. This play just completely changes the momentum of the game. Feels like he has a chance, comes off, and that's that. It's hard on these quick changes. It's the first time that the defensive line didn't really win up front. It's not terrible by Janarius. He's got a chance, but just not enough to get the arm in there. And this is a little too soft from Thomas, but still only gives up a yard. 2 yards, yard and a half. Dabo thinks he should have scored there. So now Clemson getting a chance on the edge. Again, this is just a simple sprint out to try to create some time, get a little quick out against quarters. They know that they're gonna have that because he's coming down from the safety spot. So you're trying to get 4 or 5 yards there, and they got 3. So now 3rd and 5. And this is basically Clemson named the matchup that they wanted. They formationed Florida State into what they wanted. You've got Myers here. You're not going to go there. Who is that at the top? Looks like Samuel's at the top. I don't see who that is. Got to be the same. Can't see who that is. Is that Samuels at corner? Yeah, I think that's Samuels at corner at the top. So they're not going to go at him. Be nice to have a little bit better angles. It's one thing I hate about home games for Florida State is that the angles are always terrible. So they're not going to go here because you got Stanford Samuels III there. They're not going to go here because Myers is there. But they're going to put their best wide receiver in the slot where they know you're going to have to put one of your safeties, and they're going to run smash fade. So fade from the number 2 guy, and there's just zero chance here. That's a great throw, first of all. Quick game. They're still getting pressure on him. Now, you notice, how does he get this out? He gets it out and does it just before pressure's getting there. Francois would have waited a little longer, thrown this all the way to the edge, and gotten hit. But instead, puts it right to the corner. And that's just stealing. That's really easy. There's no chance with that safety. You notice he doesn't get a hand on him. Doesn't even get a hand on him and just runs to it. There's nothing. There's no chance. That's like putting a center on a point guard in a one-on-one situation in the open floor. You just have no chance. And that changes the ball game. So skip ahead a little bit. Let me see if I can poke ahead to the condensed game. So here, this is good from Francois. Also, what you want from Terry. And if Terry breaks that, that's a score. This is how close this is to being a tie. Whoop! Right there. Get out of that. Just narrowly misses it, and he knows it. If he breaks that tackle, that's probably scoring. Had that on both sides. Terry, a little better matchup. That's just a very, very poor throw. And see, this is where he's starting to see ghosts a little bit. He's getting rid of that into coverage. Not reading this real well. He's feeling pressure. And he just wants to get rid of it to anywhere. 3rd and 9. Where does he need to go? Not there. I'm not sure he isn't trying to throw a little deeper than that, but if you're going to go anywhere, the throw to take here would have been early, throw right now, a little earlier, and throw all the way upfield to Terry, who's up there. But instead he doesn't. All right, I'm not gonna belabor too much more. I want to go to a little bit later in the game. Again, that's on the backers a little bit, but overall, still winning up front. Notice Zaquandre White in early in the second quarter to get that athleticism on the field before he decided to throw a punch. Doesn't matter how athletic you are, though, if you can't step up and make a tackle. Job of the backer here is not to go there. This is where Jackson goes to the wrong spot. Dontavius Jackson is not in his gap. He's got to come inside there. Gets out of his gap. Makes it easy. Now, notice here a couple things. This is the same RPO read Florida State runs. They're in stack. Florida State will run the same thing, usually with a slightly wider split, but not anything different. You have 7 in the box versus 5, 6. Easy count. Same thing I've been saying all along about what Francois is doing. You know that you have 2 guys that are playing 9 yards off, 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. So now what do? Get it out now. And look at how quickly he processes that. Bang, it's out. I used to do this drill with my quarterbacks when I was coaching quarterbacks before the last couple of years where I've been coaching receivers. We would do a get it out quick. So I'd, rapid fire, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, learning to throw to the edge that quickly. Catch it, throw. You don't have time to get your hand on the laces. You just catch, throw out, and look how quickly that gets to his front pad. He doesn't have to jump for it, doesn't have to come backwards for it. He's able to get upfield with his eyes up. And as a result, that turns into a big play. Whereas what's happening when Florida State's doing this is this ball is located back here. He has to jump for it half the time. And by the time he comes back down and does this, you got both guys. You got this guy that's already down here, and now you're going to have to fight for a yard. Instead, he's able to make a move because he's able to get his eyes up quickly. That ball's put right on him. And once again, you get the matchup that you want. Got your corners on the top side. You got Stanford Samuels outside. You got Taylor right there. And then you could put Nasir al-Din here on their best receiver. I don't understand that. Kyle Myers, maybe, but not a safety. It's twice in a row that you put a safety there. There's just no chance. You're just letting them know who's going to score when you line up. I mean, again, you have no shot. That's not a guy that's playing one-on-one all the time. Again, I'm not a big fan of this particular snag concept because you're fighting to get, you're making a dangerous throw to get 3 yards. It's a good play by Nooney Murray, however, to break a tackle and get upfield. So, what's the read here? You have 6 plus your 7 ball carrier. You have 5 on the line, 5-2, that's 7. You have 3 down here, 2 over 3. To me, this is a pull read. Though on 3rd and 1, I'm okay with it. And Akers very nearly breaks that. Hits it well. And this is one where there's a bust here. They blitz the safety. And there's a miscommunication here. The H-back takes the end. And then the tackle also takes the end. And neither take the safety who runs through and takes a shot on Francois. And that one hurt, I can guarantee you that. That one's low. That's why that got the penalty. Again here, you notice what did Clemson do against this look? You got 5-2, another here, 2 over 2. Throw this right there. Why hand that off? You have 6 against 7, plus an 8th guy right here. You got a blocker. This is just ISO where he's the guy that has to make the tackle. It's the wrong read. It's the wrong read. You make your team look bad when you're making that read wrong each time. So what can happen here, what needs to happen here, and this will be one of the last ones I look at. What needs to happen here is, again, watch the difference between what he does. He sits, so you're getting some pressure because Clemson is starting to compress that pocket. What he doesn't do that you see from the Elf all the time is the Elf feels this pressure a little bit, backs up just another step before he throws, and then throws stepping into it instead of sitting and then trying to throw into the pressure. Instead, he does that. He doesn't find any space. The other thing is he's got space right here. You've got a double team. You know by protection that you have a double team on the edge. Feel the edge protection. Escape out here. And now you've got the benefit of a scramble drill instead of just throwing it directly to a linebacker. And once this happens, it's 14-0. This game is over already. It was close. Close before, but this turnover, with it already 14-0, with a couple of the bad decisions and bad breaks you've given to yourself, that this game is over. And Clemson's not having to do this much, but this is just zone read. Now notice, this is the same play. Remember the same play. Now Florida State had an extra guy in the backfield here on the triple option, but they had the same pull, the same action. Supposed to read this guy. He's coming downhill just like he was against Clemson's front. Lawrence reads it correctly and gets his bell rung, and then that's it for Nasir Al-Din for the rest of the game. And that's a dart, my goodness. Good call on the pass interference, and from there, this is the ball game. That's it. This game was over at 21-0. You started seeing body language change at that point, where this game, Florida State believed when they came in they could win this game, but at this point, no way. And right here, you finally decide to challenge him vertically. You got your receiver winning big deep. Gavin's got him beat. Wins over the top. All you have to do is throw this out over the top. Instead, Francois does one of those little circle throws where he's just trying to protect himself instead of getting rid of it early. Get rid of it now. You know he's beat. Ball's got to be out now. Instead, he throws it off the back foot, throws a wounded quail out there instead of getting it up the field. And instead of an on-target throw, you just have that fall harmlessly at the feet. And yeah, he takes a shot, but he throws this a full beat late. Now, I also think they should have gone for something along this line. Spread him and force him to cover like this. Their secondary had problems earlier in the year. Force him to cover like this early in the game. Take some of these shots early and see if you can beat one of these guys deep. No reason that you can't beat that guy over the top. He's got, you've shown you can. Get rid of it now. Step into it and just take your shot. But instead, he's shying away, playing in the backfield, and that's that. Well, for the rest of this, we can go to one last thing. I want to highlight one last thing here, which we talked about on the podcast, and that is when we get to the fourth quarter, actually, I'll do two more things. Get to the fourth quarter. Here's the play that Francois goes out on. Now, he'd taken a shot earlier, right? So he took a shot on the play before. Helton with a nice little play there. But now, first of all, watch Xavier Thomas. Xavier Thomas coming off the edge here. Nice little setup move. It's like a little crossover dribble. Set up, and the tackle ducks his head, goes with both hands out, which is terrible. Well, he's got one hand out. This is a terrible technique in terms of footwork. Opens himself up, doesn't stay square. So Thomas gets a free run. Francois feels him here and just goes down lightly. No reason that he couldn't come back from that. This is not a kill shot because he's fallen away from it. He could have come back from this, but he decided he was not real interested in coming back at that point. At this point, he just decided, I'm done. I'm going to come to the sideline. I got taken down. I'm not real interested in coming down again or getting hit again. I'm done. It's not a real hard hit, but he just decided, I think he had already decided on the last one. I'm if I take another shot, I'm staying down. So now you have Blackman. And decides to keep this. I think this is a draw call all the way. And there's such a bad bust up front. I'm not sure from whom. I think Arthur Williams and Kelly end up having a bust here. You get a free runner from the defensive tackle, and Blackman just does a good job not handing that off because he's watching. He sees, oh, nope, never mind. decides to hang on to it and keep that from being a turnover. Not bad. Last thing we'll flag is Blackman's touchdown here. Nice interception by Lighton, although I think actually he was out of bounds by the time he got that ball, but it counts. So, now I want to flag a couple things. One, correct read here. You got 4, 5, and then a 6 guy, and then this guy is starting to come into the box. You got really 1.5 over 2. Get it out there. And how quickly can we get that out there? Out quick to the front shoulder. You got a chance to be successful there. It's funny how quickly how good that can look if you do it right. Now, this is against Clemson's backups, of course. But ball there, quick, to the edge. All of a sudden, it looks good. And this is, I think, a misread from Blackman. I think he should be keeping that. May not be a read, though. Not sure myself. All right, and now here is the real question, and this is the thing that if you're looking at this as Walt Bell or Willie Taggart, this is a play that makes you go, well, maybe we should make a change. Because here you see they bring 5, or they bring 4, the end stays. Defensive tackle comes completely free. This is the same little boot. And instead of panicking or giving up, you see Blackman able to step up and make a play. A little suddenness there and comfortably making a play, getting the ball up the field to Helton, who shows, some pretty good wheels. But the main thing here is the ability, even when things don't go well, because that's the key. That's one of the things when I've coached quarterbacks, I explain that it's not a good quarterback is not the guy who is able to basically make the decisions and make the throws whenever everything is perfect. It's how do you handle things when you have to improvise or when things aren't perfect. And here you see him make a little adjustment, step up, keep his eyes upfield, and make a play. Now, if he's able to do that this week against NC State, Florida State's going to have a chance to win this game. We haven't really seen this from Francois pretty much all year, minus the one that didn't count against, I think it was against Wake, the one to Terry where he threw it about 65 yards on the fly. But you haven't seen a whole lot of him just stepping up and avoiding pressure, helping his offensive line out a little bit, and that's a big deal. Now, the other thing I want to highlight, take a look at 88. Helton is not slow. Look at 88, closing that gap, getting in front smoothly. Harrison is a physical freak. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it there. I don't want to watch the rest of this, to be honest, and I don't think anybody else does. Wanted to highlight some of the things that were positive, a few of the things that could be done better, and then a little bit of Blackman there at the end, and I think we've gone ahead and done everything we need to here. So we're going to go ahead and wrap there. Once again, thanks to everybody who's watching this for your support, and hopefully have something a little bit more fun to look at next week.